What if one late fee could help create a company that changed the way billions of people watch entertainment? At the peak of his power, Reed Hastings stood at the center of a revolution. Around him, entire industries were changing, movie theaters were adapting, television networks were struggling, video rental stores were disappearing, and millions of people were pressing a single button: play. But this story isn't really about movies. It's about a man who saw the future before almost anyone else. A future where content would travel instantly across the world. A future that sounded impossible when he first imagined it. Because long before Netflix became a global giant, Reed Hastings was facing doubts, failures, and decisions that could have destroyed everything. So how did one engineer end up transforming global entertainment? And what happened during the moments nobody talks about? Long before Netflix existed, Reed Hastings was simply a curious kid, growing up in a world that looked very different from today. There were no smartphones, no streaming platforms, no endless libraries of content waiting in your pocket. But there was something else: curiosity. Reed loved solving problems. He loved understanding how systems worked. While many children focused on what was happening around them, he was often thinking about what could happen next. Those early years quietly shaped the way he viewed the world. He wasn't obsessed with entertainment. He wasn't dreaming about Hollywood. Instead, he was developing something far more valuable: a mindset, the habit of questioning assumptions, the willingness to challenge established ideas. And that mindset would eventually lead him toward opportunities that nobody could see. But first, he would have to discover just how difficult innovation really is. As Reed Hastings grew older, ambition began replacing curiosity. He studied deeply. He learned how technology could solve problems at scale. He entered a world where computers were becoming more powerful every year. And while most people were reacting to change, Reed became fascinated by predicting it. He launched businesses. He experimented. He succeeded in some areas and struggled in others. Every lesson expanded his vision. But success brought a dangerous illusion. It made the future look predictable. And the future is never predictable, because hidden behind every breakthrough is a challenge waiting to test your confidence. Reed was building momentum. His ideas were growing larger. His dreams were becoming bolder, yet he was about to discover that intelligence alone isn't enough. Sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't technology. Sometimes it's doubt, from investors, competitors, and even yourself. And that challenge was coming fast. The hardest moments rarely happen in public. They happen behind closed doors, inside empty offices, during sleepless nights. Reed Hastings faced rejection. Plans failed. Assumptions proved wrong. Markets changed. Expectations collapsed. Every entrepreneur dreams about success. Few talk about the emotional cost of pursuing it. There were moments when the future looked uncertain. Moments when safer options seemed tempting. Moments when walking away might have felt easier. But pressure has a strange effect. It either breaks people or reveals who they really are. While others saw obstacles, Reed began searching for opportunities hidden inside the chaos. He started asking a different question. Not, how do we survive? But how do we completely change the game? And that single shift in thinking would lead to the most important decision of his life. A decision that would reshape the entertainment industry forever. Most people know Netflix as a streaming giant. But before it became a symbol of the future, it was simply an idea fighting against the present. Reed Hastings realized something that many powerful companies failed to see. Technology wasn't just improving entertainment, it was redefining it. The old rules were becoming weaker every year. Consumers wanted convenience. They wanted choice. They wanted control. And Reed was willing to bet everything on that belief. It wasn't a safe decision. It wasn't an obvious decision. In fact, many people thought it was the wrong decision. But transformational ideas almost always look unreasonable in the beginning. While others protected existing systems, Reed focused on what was coming next. Slowly, the pieces started falling into place. The technology improved, the audience grew, confidence returned, but the real challenge wasn't building a product anymore. The real challenge was building a movement, and that challenge was much bigger than anyone imagined. What starts as a small advantage can become an unstoppable force. Reed Hastings wasn't just building a company anymore. He was helping build an entirely new way for people to experience stories. Every year, more users arrived, more content appeared, more countries joined the platform. The scale became difficult to comprehend. Teams expanded, infrastructure grew, decisions became more complex. Success created new responsibilities. Because leading a global company isn't the same as creating one. Every choice affects millions of people. Every mistake becomes visible. Every innovation attracts competition. Yet Reed continued pushing forward, not because the path was easy, but because standing still was even more dangerous. The company kept growing. The influence kept expanding. And before long, Netflix was no longer reacting to the future. It was helping create it. But with great influence comes an uncomfortable question. How much should one company shape the way the world consumes culture? His company wasn't just successful. It had become part of everyday life for people across the planet. Entire industries adapted, competitors changed strategy, creators found new opportunities, audiences gained unprecedented access to stories from around the world. Netflix helped accelerate a cultural shift that was already beginning, and then pushed it even further. But influence is never simple. Every major innovation creates both admiration and criticism. Some people praise the transformation, others worried about its consequences. And that's what makes Reed Hastings such a fascinating figure. His legacy isn't measured only by revenue or subscribers. It's measured by impact, by how many habits changed, by how many industries evolved, by how many assumptions were challenged. Few people get the chance to influence culture at this scale. Even fewer do it while constantly adapting to change. Yet despite all the success, one final question remained. What does a legacy really mean when the future keeps moving? Companies evolve, technologies advance, entire industries rise and fall, but certain ideas leave a mark that lasts far beyond the people who created them. Reed Hastings reminds us that the future rarely belongs to those who wait for certainty. It belongs to those willing to act before certainty exists. His story is not simply about streaming. It's about vision, about resilience, about seeing opportunity where others see risk, about continuing forward when success is far from guaranteed. And perhaps that's the lesson hidden inside every great achievement. The world doesn't change because someone predicts the future perfectly. The world changes because someone is brave enough to build it. Thank you for watching Flight of Genius. If you enjoyed this story and want more inspiring journeys about the visionaries who changed our world, please subscribe and join us for the next episode. And now we'd love to hear from you. If you had to make one risky decision that could completely change your future, would you take it?